Hello, everybody, and welcome to another conversation in our series on why Black Lives Matter. Our topic today is on claiming our worth. And so, for today, there's no major introduction, really. I'm just going to open it up to the team, and we're just going to have a flowing conversation and let the healing journey take us where it needs to take us today.
Yeah, so our worth. I haven't really been moving through this one the last couple of weeks. And really, one of the things that came up was that I had really was thinking my worth came from my comparison to other people. And where like I fell upon the spectrum really. And as I was really looking at that, I realized that I actually leak a lot of energy and not give myself the opportunity to receive joy in this space because I am comparing myself to others. And so, as I really looked at why I was comparing myself to others, it really came to this place where I felt like they had something that I did not have, which is not true at all, actually. And so, as I came to that realization, I chose to really just claim my worth and claim my divinity and choose to know that whatever I desire, I can have, because that's how God created us, was for us to be able to have all of our needs met and more. And so as I really chose to claim my worth there, I've had a lot of positive things shift in my life, especially when it comes to my finances, when it comes to the flow of my work. I actually just got a new job today, and it was a job that I really desired. Thank you. And I think that if I hadn't really worked through that worthiness block, I would have gone into the interviews feeling insecure, feeling like maybe I wasn't the one they're looking for. But that was not the case. I really made the choice in the last couple of weeks to really love myself in this space. And so what I do when I'm starting to feel like unworthy of something or not enough, I stop that thought process and then I replace it with 3 positive affirmations. So right now, my affirmations currently are I am worthy, I am enough, and I am chosen. And so as I really sit in that energy, lately it seems like everything that is coming in my space is because I am worthy, I am enough, and I was chosen. So it was really me having to claim my worth and really understand my value. I am a very, very valuable person. I think a lot of people don't feel that they have value or they don't have anything to bring to the table. But your source is God, so that means you actually have a lot to bring to the table. And it's just up to you to really acknowledge that and see that. But yeah, so for me, my worth is really becoming like my number one priority of understanding that I'm worthy of anything that I truly desire. And it's only me who's standing in my own way to think that I can't receive that. And as soon as I choose to value myself and understand my worth, I receive it really easily because that's how God works. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that feels really good. I like those affirmations. And I've also been working through this energy and I think it's kind of been in the space of the 2 topics for this week. So the one in our BLM conversation around claiming our worth and then claiming our value. And the topic in the LGBTQ conversation around claiming our true selves. So I feel like it's just that's very interrelated and kind of the perfect space in this week just to work through that energy, because one of the things that also came up for me in terms of this just last 2 weeks is just a lot of forward momentum energy. So a lot of the energy for me is like, very transitional energy that I'm kind of picking up across the board, but also in my life, and just kind of what that means for me and where it's taking me. And also, like, what is that piece in that space? Like what was the feeling of that energy of change that I was potentially not looking at, or potentially even resisting. And so, yeah, I think it's kind of just, it's been fitting for those two topics to come together. And then just for even in the affirmation that you've had, just kind of go and sit back and relax into the value that is there, that I probably sometimes don't feel is as apparent to me as it may be to other people, or I get feedback and I go like, what are you seeing that I'm not kind of seeing? And I think it came out of the article that Yoreen shared in terms of women of color and opportunities, and just, you know, almost having your space in this world kind of thing. And in having your space in this world, it's like everybody does. And so there isn't this land grab energy. It's just there. It's just the kind of relaxing into the pure power of you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things too, is like when you start to heal that within yourself, your reality has to show up in that way. And that was something that I even found with like this job that I got. One of the things that they were talking about was like, one of the reasons why we're looking at you is because you bring a different culture to this environment, because you are a person of color. It almost threw me off, like, oh, like they are looking for me instead of me having to go out looking for these opportunities. And they're like, we really desire diversity here. We want to be able to have a little bit of aspect of everybody in this environment, in this workforce. And so because I had made that choice to really know that I had a place, and that it wasn't based off of my color or anything like that. It really was based off of like just what I had to bring and my value. Being a person of color actually ended up being a perk in this situation, which is really nice, to have that change. Because for me, always growing up, my stepfather was always trying to prepare me. And that's what we saw a little bit in the video that was in the discussion. It was this actress, a woman of color, who has the same, pretty much if you're gonna look at the resume, has the same resume, but nowhere near the same amount of pay, the same amount of opportunities and jobs, even though everyone compares her to, like, they call her what, the Black Meryl Streep. And she was like, no, I'm me. Like, and if you find me that unique, you should see my value and pay me of my worth. And so really being able to acknowledge that, for me, I was always told that I had to work twice as hard as a person not of color. If I was going to have a job opportunity and I was going up against a white woman, I most likely wouldn't get it. And so I had to make sure that I was above and beyond to where they couldn't say no to me. And so it was almost that energy of that I had to be perfect in order to receive my good. And that's something that I've really had to move through, is understanding that I don't actually have to be perfect to receive my good. I just choose it and really claim it, and then show up as my authentic self and receive what God has for me in that space.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, I actually like what you said, because one of the pieces that I felt into when I watched that video of Viola Davis saying, like, you know, I have all this, I am all this, and yet I'm not there. And then you sharing the part of I was told I had to be twice as good as anybody else to kind of make the cut. And, you know, like when I feel into that space, I was never told that. It was almost an unspoken thing that you needed to be better, that I needed to be better. I needed to work harder. I needed to be smarter. I needed to be tougher. I needed to be kind of just more powerful. But that power didn't come from a space of actually feeling powerful, though. The power came from a space of, because there's a lack, I'm going to push through it. It's like this inadvertent motivation that when you heal through that space, you're like, well, where is my motivation? Like, what am I actually doing now? how do I do this? Because I'm no longer motivated by the energy of fear and the energy of lack and the energy of having to get something. So now I have to find my intrinsic motivation in a very different space, in the space of actually wanting to show up for me, in the space of having what is mine. And it's not even the energy of, well, it's mine, so you can't have it. It's just that it's mine. And everybody has their good. They kind of need to claim it. And I think that's what you were talking to. It's kind of just that energy of claiming your good and claiming your worth and claiming your value. And so, like having transitioned through that energy, it's like one of the things that has happened is that I have completed all my certification requirements to be an Ascension coach kind of thing. And that's kind of happened in the last 2 weeks. So it's that energy of when you get out of your own way because you know what you have and what you're capable of, as opposed to I will show you. It's a whole different energy. It's an energy of I'm being true to me and this is where I want to be. And so this is what I'm going to do to be there. As opposed to I have to compete and I have to be faster, better, stronger, and all those other fabulous words that is in that space of competition and comparison, and really the energy of a dog-eat-dog world that we kind of transcend as you heal into the space of, well, actually, this is me. And this is where my power lies. And this is how I can claim my power. And this is how I can use my power without using it in a way that makes me feel uncomfortable. It's just there. So I get to use it in the way that's most powerful for me, in the way that kind of supports my highest good. And it's pleasure. I feel like you have a piece here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I love what Kanisha said. Like, it almost made me emotional, actually, because like she just like put it perfectly and was like, yeah, like God created us with value, and was sharing like how she was working on that, and I feel like I was working on the same stuff this week. I think I even was like having a conversation with Drake about this, like at some point within the past few days. Yeah, it's like just, it's already there, like we're not separate from it. We just have to choose to see it and love ourselves where we don't feel that way. It's really cool. Yeah, but I really did get emotional when you were talking because you said it so perfectly. Like, I feel like it's something that everyone should like, rewind this and go back and listen to what she said. Because it was like really beautiful. And like, I just really just felt really loved. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that I really had to acknowledge. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm not good enough and that's why I didn't get it. For me, like going into this opportunity, instead of coming from a place of lack, I really looked at it as like a two-way street. Like, okay, I'm going in for this job, but like what else does this job provide for me other than a paycheck? That's not why I'm working. And so I really had to feel in like, does this place give me value too? Does this place meet me where I live? Like, is this a space that I actually want to spend time in? And recognizing that when you choose to really see your value, really choose to honor that that's how God created you, then you automatically align in those places. And for me, this job felt like part of like my community, like how I feel in my community. This is how this job felt too. And because that's what I just choose to align with. And so it's really easier for you to be in that flow of having those opportunities once you recognize that like God is guiding you this way because this is what's best for you. And a lot of the times we resist that. That's what you were talking about a little bit too, Granville, is that like resistance of like, am I really supposed to be in this space, or like what's happening here? But a lot of the times it's just because we're not seeing ourselves in the way that God sees us. And that's always what I'm really striving to, is to really see, how does God see me in this space, or how does God really want me to see myself in this space? Because God always sees us as perfection. And for me, that's been one of the hardest things to wrap my mind around, is that God sees me as ultimately perfection, as there is no flaws to Kanisha. There's nothing I would change about her. And the only thing I'd probably change about her is the way that she sees herself. So really having to acknowledge that in truth, I am the only one standing in my way when it comes to any opportunity that I truly desire, just because I'm holding on to a belief somewhere that maybe I'm not good enough for that position, or I'm not worthy enough for that pay raise, or whatever it is that's coming up. But it, like in truth, like God truly does want you to have this perfect life. And I think that's hard for a lot of us to swallow and to like really receive, because we've been told differently for so long, or we experienced differently for so long. But that's the true point of like twin flames, is coming to the understanding of perfection that is our birthright.
Yeah, and you know what, I feel like you're speaking to another piece here as well, in terms of an energy of actually just appreciating yourself. And you know, it's something that I've worked through with my coach Brienne over the last 2 weeks. It's just like, do I allow myself to celebrate myself? You know, like those moments when you have this reprieve and you just relax into the chillness of what life is in that moment. And you look at it and you're like, okay, what's next? But hey, you just did a freaking hard yard. Like, actually celebrate that for a little bit. And so, you know, like what the thing, that the energy that kind of came through today was just that energy of, frick, there's been so much work from a almost spiritual point of view. It was like that energy of almost the tower energy, the energy of breakdown, breakdown, breakdown. And then there's this feeling of like, well, now there's nothing in the way. Now there's that feeling of there's no limitation here. That energy of there's a breakthrough here. And like when you look at it, all of a sudden it was like, well, why am I skeptical of the openness on the other side of this thing? Why am I kind of, and the visual I had was of dipping my toe into the water as opposed to actually stepping into the water. And as we healed through that, it was just like, okay, I'm ready to swim. Like, I want to swim here. And it was just a feeling of leaving crap behind. But in order to kind of be in that space, you kind of have to go, well, hey, shit, I did it. Like, hey, I actually put in some heavy work here. I lifted some bloody boulders here. And actually, I get to chill for a little bit. I don't have to look for the next piece. It will present itself. And so that it comes back to that energy of like, yeah, I did it. Like, I've been working towards this for this long. And now I'm here, and like, actually, not what's next, like, well, bloody done. You know, and I think that's the kind of thing that we kind of need to remind ourselves of. We kind of need to take that step. It's not the opportunity to go, okay, I can chill forever now. It's kind of the opportunity to go, hey, well done. Like, enjoy the reprieve. Like, just chill for a while. Let it be comfortable and fun and easy, even in the relaxation, and just allow yourself to appreciate what the hell you've done here.
Yeah, I love that you say that. Today experienced when I went in for, it was a second interview, they had asked me to, they gave me a thank you card and they asked me to write a thank you note to myself and they're mailing it to me. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we want you to write a thank you card for like taking the opportunity to do this for yourself, to go through the interview process, to allow yourself to move through getting a job. And like, I didn't even like think like about it in that way. But when they said it, I was like, man, that's how I know that this is aligned for me. Because these people are bringing me back to God. They're bringing me back to like my center here of having to recognize like, even this may seem like an everyday thing, like people look for jobs all the time, whatever, like those, even the little mundane things, you have to take time to appreciate yourself for moving through it or accomplishing it and really being your own best friend in that way, your own ultimate lover, your own support system, by just recognizing those small wins, whether it's just moving through the mirror exercise or receiving the job that you desire, whatever it is. It's like really having to acknowledge that you did the work. Now it's time to really honor the fact that you did that, instead of like, that's part of your success. Like, because you did that, you were successful in that space. Everyone's always trying to search and like reach for success. And it's like, it's happening in your daily life. The more that you honor it, the more that you can cultivate it on an even bigger scale.
So what will you be doing at your new job, if you're allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, so I am working with a local photography business. And so I will be working up front with the clients and helping them choose like what it is that they desire. Also be doing sales, which is already what I do already in my business. But it's really just being a photographer's assistant and just really helping the clients feel completely comfortable and loved all the way through the process. And so it was funny because I did put down on my resume that I, of course, do like my Mary Kay business and I do life coaching. And they were so curious about the life coaching, which is what I call ascension coaching, for, because a lot of people are like, what's ascension coaching? It just throws them off. So for what I call like muggle people, no, I'm just kidding, people who aren't really quite spiritual yet, the muggles, I call it life coaching. And so when I got to share the mirror exercise with them, and they all looked at me like, you just changed my life. Like, I need this in my life. And I was like, and that's why I'm an ascension coach, because everybody needs this work. Like, and so just those skills alone really made me one of the top candidates. And so they're like, we'll give you a call back tomorrow. And I hadn't even got home yet. And they called me and they're like, you have the job. So it's like perfect. But it was really because of the skills that I've taken from ascension coaching, I was able to really show up as my authentic self and just be, and really just feel comfortable as who I was, and allow just God to shine through me. And I was completely received in that space. I didn't have to try to be anything that I wasn't. I didn't have to like prepare my questions. They kind of just gave me questions and I just felt my feelings and moved through the process. And I was like, this is probably one of the most easiest, but fun interviews I've ever done, because I was just authentically in myself, in my presence, and really choosing to just surrender it to God. When I went into that interview, I was like, I just give this to you, God. If this is what you have for me, perfect. If not, you'll show me another way. Like, I'm not going to attach to this. And so, yeah, I'm really excited because I get to work with people, and that's one thing that I love about the mirror exercise, is you kind of have to like be in front of people to be triggered so that you can move through whatever doesn't feel good. I've been working from home for the last year. And so I just kind of feel like I don't always get the opportunity to move through things as quickly as if we're out in real life and having to be around people. And really, that's part of relationships, is you have to relate to people. It's something that I'm working through this week with my own personal coach. is really being able to relate to people on all levels, and that requires me to be in front of people. So I'm looking forward to be able to go deeper in my spiritual practice of really mastering the mirror exercise now that I get to be around more people.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. It's like, and it feels like the energy of just helping people kind of find their desire in that space. Like you're loving them in a different way. Like photography is a whole nother level of something, right? And so you showing up as your authentic self will probably also help them show up as their authentic selves and enjoy that experience a lot more. So it's kind of just feels like it's very fitting and kind of flowy into each other in the space of kind of bringing people back to their desire for love.
Yes, and that was one of the things that was on my love list, because I do a love list for anything and everything that I want. And so when I was asking God for the perfect job, I was looking at what I truly desired in the job, and that was that they provided something where they give a deep level of value, and it's from a space of love. And when I talked with the owner, like, she just had such a passion about these pictures. She was like, this is a moment in time where this family is together and it gets to be in their home, and that's what makes the home, is this family. Like, she's so passionate about it. I've never heard anyone speak about a photograph like this before. And so it's like how we speak about God, like how we speak about our twin flame. Like, she was in love with these pictures and what she gives. And that was really important for me, was that I really am able to help people uh, feel comfortable in expressing their true divinity, no matter how it is that it's expressed. And photography is an amazing way to express yourself and to express your love through something. And so it really did match my love list. I did go to another job interview, and halfway through I was just like, this doesn't match my love list. I'm sorry, this is not something that I'm invest my time and energy to. Even though I did get a second interview, I was able to really feel into, again, like, I'm not doing this for a paycheck. I'm doing this because I have a lot to offer, and this is where God's guiding me to move through. And so really being honoring yourself and being true to yourself is really important, no matter what you're doing in your life. And so I had to make sure that this job aligned with my core values, and that there would be an equal give and take in the relationship. I could learn from you and you can learn from me, and we're open to expanding in that way.
Yeah, I like that. That feels good. Like it's like your love list is literally taking you into a space of being surrounded by people or in love with love. Like that's the energy I'm picking up from it, even as you speak about it. So yeah, I think you kind of touched on something quite important in terms of misalignments with values and misalignments with your love list and that kind of stuff. And I think it goes very deeply back to our topic in terms of claiming your value. Like, and the thing that kind of stands out for me is like, if you don't know what you stand for, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for everything, kind of thing. And so like your love list just kind of tells you very clearly. And I mean, it's none of that cast in stone stuff that can't evolve and change as you evolve and change and refine and that kind of thing. But like the core of it feels like a very solid space to be in, that you get very deeply clear about it. And for anybody who's watching, we do recommend that you look at investing in the romance attraction equals, because you will go through those lessons where you start to define these things for yourself, and they bring you very clearly back to what's at your core. So yeah, anybody that is keen to look at it, please go and look at twinflamesuniverse.com and look at the products on offer. And the one we're specifically speaking to is the romance attraction equals, which I think is probably quite a valuable piece of work to work through, and the lessons are short and they're fun as well. So yeah, it's definitely an encouraging thing. And like for me, once I got clear on my values, it was so easy to go, no, misaligned, 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 gone, 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 gone. It was like, it became this like no-brainer energy all of a sudden. Like the minute like anything was misaligned to the core of who I am, I was able to very clearly go, doesn't align, not in line with how I value myself, Chiriba, which felt like a much healthier space to be in. There wasn't that space of animosity of like trying to drag people along or trying to get them to see things from my perspective or any of that kind of stuff. It's just like, nope, misaligned, not doing that.
Yeah, with that, it's easier to really recognize when you're coming from a space of lack. That's been a huge thing for me, is like, am I choosing this because I feel like I'm not going to receive something better, or because it really comes back to that worthiness, that value. And you're going to have to remind me of the actress's name that was posted in the video.
Viola Davis.
Yeah, so I was watching that, and as I was feeling into it, there was like this energy of just definitely not feeling seen. And there's also this a little bit of energy of like victimhood of like, how come they get this but I don't? Instead of really just truly seeing her power, and like she has played some powerful roles that like I completely understand where she's coming from. But it's now easier for me to not go into that victimized energy of like, she's right, like she doesn't get this, and like be mad. And instead it's like, oh, I see that she really feels undervalued here. I choose to just claim my value, so I don't have to experience that, because that's the only thing I can control here. I can either sit in the upset with her, or I can claim my value and feel my feelings through what is coming up in this interview, and make that choice for me and change that. And that starts to change my reality. So then later down the road, hey, say Kanisha ends up being an actress like 20 years from now. People ask how I make that much money, I'll be like, this is how you do it, y'all. Claim your value. Claim your worth. If you don't feel like you're not giving what you deserve, look at where you're not giving to yourself and really claim that. Like, you deserve all that you desire. And so yeah, it was nice to be able to watch it and not get sucked into that victimized, that lower energy, and really just be like, all right, I feel that too. I claim my power here. I don't choose that because it doesn't look fun. And really make a new choice there.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you're speaking to is that trap of, I have this string of things that should qualify me in a different way, and it's not. And what do I do with this now? I think you're speaking to that energy of, and I think we've spoken about it before in our conversation around even that the female doctor that was like asked on a plane, well, like, where's your medical license, before she was even given consideration of helping somebody else who was actually needing medical attention on a plane, kind of thing. And I think it just, it's just that energy of kind of getting trapped in that, like, I have this string of qualifications behind my name, and I have this string of accomplishments and this string of experience, and nothing's working out. And so, yeah, it's like, it feels a lot more powerful to go, well, actually, yes, that's part of what I am, but actually, I'm a powerful creator in this space. So I get to claim my value right now. I get to claim my good right now. I don't have to wait for somebody to recognize all those pieces of paper that I'm not choosing to hang on the wall. Because if I did, it would probably be a whole nother blast, like effort there, right? It would be like a whole nother effort of showcasing things that says what I've done, not necessarily who I am.
I would love to hear from a Deji if he has any sense in here.
I mean, going back to, what you said, Kanisha, first of all, congratulations on, your job. Yeah. That kind of brought up for me before when I got accepted to the company that I work for right now. I've been working with them for almost a year. The company is a predominantly Caucasian, staff. There's only about, oh boy, I would say about a 10% African American staff members, I think. It was, yeah. But I didn't know this until, I started meeting different people in different departments. And it brought up about like, wait, damn, like why am I here? But again, it's the claim and the value that I needed to do at the time. It was just really triggering, like, oh my God, like, there's no Black people in here, bro. But yeah, that's what came up for me when you brought about your new job.
Yeah, and how do you feel in like your job now? Like now being filled with just like 10% Black people, like do you feel like there's an unevenness, or do you feel comfortable where you are?
Oh, I definitely built a comfort because we started having, our I guess you can call them like annual chats about, equality and racism and mental health and things of the sort. And also we've kept pushing the point of African Americans in the workplace. So it was kind of comforting to hear people's different opinions on that, because I felt I would say I would felt awkward to bring that up, being that I'm just coming to this company, but the fact that they would talk about this on their different time, they're in their different time spaces, it felt really comforting. Yeah.
Feels like you're a good part of the change. Like having you there is part of the change they're really trying to implement of like that equality.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Drake, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm kind of just like sitting back, listening to what everybody's saying and just like taking it in. And yeah, I like Anastasia said, we were just talking about this yesterday. Like I had a session with Ray, like her twin flame, and we were working through like exactly this. It was just like valuing yourself, valuing work, and like getting clear on your core values, and I think that's just really helpful too. I kind of forgot about that. I was like, oh yeah, I can like get clear on my core values and be like, is my work aligning here or not? Like are they supporting me here or not? And obviously like I'm giving that to myself first, right? I'm choosing to claim my value. But if like if my work's not doing that and they're not aligning with me there, then that's always something to like look at. So this conversation is it's just like reiterating that to me, and like bringing up like, hey, just be more aware of this, because I do want to honor myself and honor my value, because that's important. And yeah, again, like it's awesome to see how like we're all healing this together, and this is all just one like cohesive thing. So yeah, I feel good.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things that you talked about was like having to like get clear in that space. And I noticed that if I had a alignment somewhere, like in my job or in my life purpose, it actually is reflected in my twin flame journey as well. And so one of the things that I'm getting really clear on is that Kanisha's daily life is not separate from her twin flame journey life. What I was doing for a minute, I was trying to like keep them separate in a sense. But really it's like anything that I move through my daily life is really reflected upon my twin flame union, because my twin flame union is the core of everything. It's the center of everything. And so It's like if something feels bad anywhere else, it's also going to be reflected in your union. And so it's actually safe to really get clear in those spaces, because you're getting even clearer with your divine partner. And that there truly is no separation. It's just like if there's a misalignment somewhere, that misalignment is going to play out in every part of your life until you get clear on that alignment.
Yeah, something I wanted to just also go into a little bit is that energy of judging or misjudging your value. And I think you spoke to it quite early, quite a bit earlier in our conversation, Kanisha, in just, not necessarily truly seeing yourself as God sees you. And in that, it's that energy of misjudging what's actually there. And so, yeah, it's also a piece that I feel like is important to highlight, because we don't allow the fullness of ourselves through. So we don't allow the fullness of our life experience through. And like, having gone through this last 2 weeks of healing into that space, that was kind of the energy that I kind of picked up, was like almost this feeling of living potentially a partial life or half a life, not necessarily a full life, because of the fact that there were those value pieces that I wasn't allowing to surface, or that I was allowing to surface and inadvertently be unaware of. So yeah, I also want to just open that up to everybody and see, like, how when you think about it in the perspective of the inadvertentness of not seeing your true value, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I love that you said that, because the card that came up was surrender to your soul's path. And it says that your life's journey has perfectly been designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. And for me, with the question you asked, was like, I found that I was really sad because I wasn't honoring the God-given potential that was given to me at birth. I wasn't choosing to really see my power, and that my source is God. Like, I have God. And so I had to really work through just forgiving myself, having unconditional forgiveness towards self, and really making the choice to just honor that I am a perfect child of God, and that I'm meant to be completely loved in every space. And a lot of the times we get really upset, especially with the video that we watched. She was upset because she felt really just not loved. She felt unloved in this space. And so it's really coming back to, are you loving yourself in this space? Do you see you as clearly as God sees you? And if not, that's okay. Have a deep compassion for yourself and be really gentle with yourself. That's really what you're working towards and striving, is truly seeing your complete potential and your power. A lot of people are really afraid to step into their power. I know that's something I'm working through currently, is really understanding how fucking powerful I am, if that's what I choose. And when I do, shit just aligns and it just goes. And there's little to no work or effort. And so it's because I really choose to understand that, like, everything that I need is within me. I just have to claim it and choose to walk in that power. It's also part of like what Jeff talks about. Is like, are you gonna walk with me? Or are you gonna like lollygag and act like you're not divine and you're meant to come home to God? Like, and so it's really having to make that choice to walk in your full power really see your potential and know that's always expanding and growing. There's no glass ceiling on like what you can do in this lifetime. That's only your judgment and your own personal block of what you think you can achieve in this lifetime.
Yeah, I want to also say that, like, because what you said about not seeing yourself as who you are or as divine, it's also arrogant, you know, and that's what I've been working on with everything, even today. Because, yeah, like, it's silly to see yourself as something that God didn't create you as. And I also had like a opposite experience of you too, like with like jobs. I didn't even apply for it, but like I talked to the manager at this place, and it was like whatever they said, it was just clear that I was like, no, this isn't the job for me. I'm gonna have to keep looking. And so that like kind of goes back to what Granville was saying, like about like seeing like something that's like misaligned or and letting it go, because like when you heal stuff too, like a lot of stuff is going to like also upheave and like be released. Like whatever's no longer serving you, you're gonna have to let go of too. So like I see that all the time too, like just like a lot of shifts with like, you know, just things that aren't serving me, or maybe even like relationships that aren't serving me, as I heal this value block too. So I just wanted to have like a little reminder that it's like safe to let go of stuff too as you like claim your value. And it doesn't mean like something's wrong with you. Like if you're claiming your value and then like, you know, you see that you have to let go of something and surrender something, like it's actually like really good. So
Yeah, and I just in terms of what you said around that arrogance piece, I feel like we need to just maybe expand that a little bit, because kind of bring people into that understanding of what we mean when we say it's arrogant to also not see your value. So I don't know if you want to just kind of expand that a little bit, or if anybody else on the team wants to do that.
yeah, well, in my words, and I'm sure Kanisha's gonna add some stuff too. Like you weren't made to be not valuable because God didn't make you that way. So, you know, it's arrogance to believe that you're not valuable, or like, or if you believe that you're not divine, it's arrogant to believe that because that's not God's truth. So that's like kind of my explanation of it. I don't know what you want to say.
That was perfect. That's the truth. Yeah. If you're choosing not to see the way that your creator made you, which is anything other than perfection, it really is arrogant. It's like saying that somehow he messed up on his creation, but God doesn't mess up on anything. It's just your belief.
I love how you just started laughing because you were just like, yeah, like it is just straight silly.
It really is. It's like it's once you move through that fear and like you look back at it, you're just like, what in the hell was I afraid of? Like it was really just like that you didn't think you're gonna like move through it, or somehow you're just gonna die in the middle of the block. Like I just the block is gonna take me out, y'all. This is the one. I know it. Like and then you move through it and you're just like ready to go because you just feel so accomplished and you're successful, and it's just like, wow, like God really did move through that with me. And that's the other thing, is like that's one thing I'm really moving through, is there's never ever a second of my time on this earth that I'm not with God, that I'm not moving through something and he's not walking with me. It's just like that is like crazy. And so that's one of the things I'm really letting go of arrogancy in that space, is thinking that I'm ever doing anything without God. Even if I'm not consciously acknowledging that I'm doing it with God, I'm doing it with God. And so it's really okay to just relax. And like the card said, like, it says embrace every lesson in every moment. And a lot of times we're resisting every lesson in every moment. So I'm really learning to just let that go and choose to be in love, even if it doesn't always feel good. Move through it with love, with God.
Yeah, and you know, the reason why I asked you guys to just expand on that piece around arrogance is also just that the word in and of itself might be triggering, but it might also not necessarily be understood in the context of our conversation. And so the idea behind the question was just to expand on that. Even in in that space of thinking you're less than or whatever else, there's this arrogance to believe that you know better than God in that space. It's that thing about what Ganesha said about avoiding God's truth in that space. And we don't always realize that we're doing that. And even when we do come to the realization that we're doing that, we kind of also tend to beat ourselves up about it. And it's okay. And it's safe to be compassionate with yourself as you learn, as you make mistakes while you're learning. Like, making mistakes while you're learning does not diminish your value. In fact, it might just make you more valuable because you are learning. And I think that's the kind of stuff that we also need to just share. So, you know, it's not just the flip side of the coin. There's two sides to this coin, and they come together very nicely, but they might feel counterintuitive in certain instances. And yet it's about respecting and even just claiming God's truth in that space. Because as you claim God's truth in that space, your truth in that space starts to be revealed. And I think it's almost full circle to where we started with Kanisha saying, well, like, you know, choosing to see myself as God sees me. Even if I can't see myself, just actually asking God to allow me to see myself the way God sees me.
Absolutely. And in truth, if you don't, then you're gonna have an upset with your twin flame not seeing you. Clearly. We're gonna come back, because I know everyone's here about their twin flame. So we're gonna come back to that truth that if you don't see yourself the way God sees you, it's hard for your twin flame to truly recognize you at the core. And that's something that I personally had to move through in my own twin flame journey, was that even though it was like God was giving us all the things that we wanted, because we weren't really truly seeing our value, we almost wanted to say no to it. Like, nope, sorry, like, I'm not good enough for this. I can't have it. And God's like, but it's yours. And we don't want to take it because somewhere we have this belief that we're not worthy of it, or we're just not enough, when really he just wants to hand us our good all the time. And it's only us that is in a sense being arrogant of not receiving all of our good. It's only your choice to receive it or not to receive it. And so being able to see yourself like God sees you, anytime an opportunity comes, or just anything that just feels like too good to be true, he's like, no, like, I'm God's, like, this is a gift to me, and my gift back to him is to receive it completely and fully and love it. And so, yeah, that's deeply important on this journey, is to see yourself the way that God does. So the last card we got was surrender to your intuition, tune into your inner voice, be aware of any gut feelings, flashes, knowings, or aha moments that come through to guide you. And your intuition is really God communicating with you to your next step or your next opportunity or to his next gift to you.
Yeah, how's everybody feeling? Are we feeling complete in this space today? Good. Yeah. So yeah, thank you to everybody for the conversation today. I think we've kind of over the last however many months, just delved into this topic in various forms. Even though the topic may not have been completely specified in terms of claiming our value, but I think at the end of the day, it just all boils down to seeing and owning the valuable person that you are, and not from a space of arrogance, not from a space of lack, not even from a space of judgment. It's just that intrinsically you have value. And as a child of God, you have value. And it's okay to learn to understand and accept that value over however many healing months and however many healing steps that you have. So yeah, just kind of also step back and be compassionate with yourself. It's safe to take your time in your journey and learn the lessons that you need to learn as they present themselves. So with that, I just want to thank everybody for the conversation, and we look forward to seeing all of you again next week. We'd like to invite you to like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you will find all our previous conversations in our series on why Black Lives Matter. And we will see you all next week. So thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.